So, to take us into the lunch break, we have DD2 and DD2 Masters. And the grid is as follows. Jan Gussens and David Remy complete the front row. Dionysius Livris and Jan Schwitter on row number 2. Zander Schiblak and Sebastian de Grand, row number 3. Karl Klibort and Alexander Vermeulen round out the top 4 rows, with Jamie Billings and Christoph Linien rounding out the top 10 drivers. Tamsin Germain from the UK will start from 11th position, ahead of Alexander Sanibekian from the Netherlands. Christoph Adams and Madeleine Radny completes row number 7. And the last 2 rows, last 4 drivers, we have Roland Kinch from the United Kingdom, Frits Wernsen from the Netherlands, Alexander Durlinger from the Netherlands, and also Ronald Billings from the UK. So we now go on to the formation lap, and I think quite a few drivers need to catch up with Jan Gussens, who sort of stormed off a little bit into the distance, but now he's going to start slowing, putting on the brakes. Current air temperature here in Mariembourg is around 17 degrees Celsius, with a humidity of around 74%, a wind of around 5 miles an hour, and in the other measurement, 63 degrees Fahrenheit, 74%, 63 degrees Celsius. So it's about an 8 kph wind, just judging on my so-called fairly okay mathematical skills. I do know that 50 miles an hour is about 80 kph in whenever you come over to Europe, as in, and if people say to me, yes, the UK is still in Europe, but for how much longer? And don't quote me on that. But looking forward to another exciting race with DD2 and DD2 Masters. We've seen some great racing. We heard some very honest opinions from both Madeleine Radny and Tamsin Germain post race 2 yesterday afternoon. And also Dionysius Livris being very thankful to those that continue to support his racing endeavours. So always good to see him do his level best. So just waiting for Jan Gussens and David Remy to line up alongside, which they have done now. They are now in the tram lines. This is a very slow start, very reminiscent of final number 2 yesterday. So what's going to happen here? Who's going to get the jump on who? Now, are we going to go lights out? Yes, we are this time. As looks like Dionysius Livris has stormed past David Remy. Jan Schwitter trying to go around the outside of the Swede, going out of turn 2. Has to back out of it. And Zander Schiblak has got past Sebastian de Grand for 5th position and goes very deep on the brakes. And there was some side-by-side action with the 510 of Karl Klebot. Not happy with what's just happened there. And it could have involved maybe Alexander Vermeulen, I believe. But in the meantime, Jan Gussens has stolen a march on the rest of the opposition. But that is for the moment. 9 minutes and 30 plus an additional lap to go, as Zander Schiblak has stormed his way past Jan Schwitter from Switzerland in the 427 this time around. And that time it was through turn number 8. So we're about to complete lap number 1 here of this penultimate race for the DD2 and DD2 Masters contingent this weekend here at Mariembourg. Jan Gussens lead, but I have to say Dionysius Livris was very, very quick indeed, and has been this weekend, has also taken 2 wins. So Livris really looking to make sure he can keep that continuing success going. Meanwhile, Karl Klibot at the moment still is leading the DD2 Masters class, but then has Christoph Linien 588. Obviously, there was I don't know whether there was the slightest amount of contact that's put Karl Klibot a little bit askew there a couple of laps ago, but he wasn't clearly happy about that. But now I'm looking at where Jan Gussens and DJ Livris are. So Dionysius Livris really on the hunt right now to catch up with the 490 from Belgium, Jan Gussens. So Gussens really trying to hold off the advances of, and I tell you what, Livris is going to go for it, and he sweeps up the inside. Gussens really trying to master that cutback, but Livris had the job done by the apex of turn number 1. Great job from the 436 from Dames Racing. So, Jan Negussen's now down into second place. Zander Przyblak, I'm just keeping an eye on his lap times. He was fractionally slower than David Remy, but Dionysius Livris, as a result of sweeping his way past up the inside of Jan Negussen's, took the fastest lap of the race at 54.995. First driver to go sub 55 in this race, and we still have over 7.5 minutes of it left to go here to conclude the morning's action. So, Dionysius Livris leads. Jan Negussen's in second. Who's in third at the moment? I'm just wondering how much longer is it going to be before Zander Przyblak tries to get his way past the Swede that is Mr. David Remy in the 4:55. And Przyblak was incredibly close under braking. Sebastian de Grand in the process is closing up on Jan Schritter for what is fifth on the road. Behind them is the 4:63 of Sani Bekian from the Netherlands, with Vermeulen, Karl Klibort and Madeleine Radny now rounding out the top 10. In terms of the classification for DD2 Masters, Klibort is leading the class, but is in 9th overall. Second in that is Christophe Lignon from Belgium in the 5:88 in 11th. And then it is Tamsin Germain who rounds out the top 3 in DD2 Masters. She's currently running 13th, 0.6 of a second ahead of Christoph Adams in the 555 at the moment, but Dionysius Livris did have a 0.4 of a second advantage last time around. What's the gap now between him and Jan Negussen's? 0.415 as Remy is trying to close on the 490. And I'm just seeing who was quickest. So, many things can happen over the course of a race distance. We are fast approaching the half-time point of this race. 5 minutes and 49 seconds to go, plus 1 additional lap. So Dionysius Livris has got an advantage to around 0.4 of a second over Jan Negussen's, who will very quickly come under fire, rest assured, from David Remy. Or could it be Zander Przyblak from Belgium, the Bouvin Power defending champion in the DD2 class in BNL Karting Series, is really trying to make amends. Obviously, he was excluded for unfair driving in one of the races yesterday. Now he's really got to get himself back focused as the Zander Przyblak we know and have come to expect. And he's really closing under braking on David Remy. The battle for third is really going to heat up right now as they go into the left-hander at turn number 4. Przyblak was about just over 0.2 of a second off of David Remy on that last lap. Dionysius Livris is just fractionally opening the gap to mitigate the distance between himself and Jan Negussen's from Belgium, who's currently in second. Less than 5 minutes to go. 4 minutes and 46 left on the clock, plus 1 additional lap. DJ Livris from Greece continues to lead. David Remy is about a kart length and a half ahead of Zander Przyblak in the battle for third position. This could really heat up if Przyblak gets the run coming out to the chicane. Looks to be a little bit better that time for the Belgian. Let's see what the gap between third and fourth is. 0.245. I tell you what, Zander Przyblak really has not had an opportunity to try and close up, but he has under turn 3. But then Remy gets the power down a bit more in a linear sense, coming out of turn number 3, whereas I don't know what's up with when Przyblak, he comes out of the corner. I see the back end sliding out slightly. He looks a bit more on rails as Zander Przyblak, but that's the kind of style that he uses. He is actually really closing on third position right now, going through into the right-hander at turn 7. Turn 10, turn 11. So this is going to be really close. Is he going to get a better run? He's tighter to the back bumper of Remy coming out of the final chicane. Could Przyblak try and get up to third? Not quite yet. 3 minutes 31 to go, plus an additional lap. Zander Przyblak still has work to do in this instance. But Dionysius Livris really has kept control over this race, having got past Jan Negussen's a little bit earlier on. So within the first 3 minutes, Dionysius Livris hit the front and hasn't really, well, has only had to probably glance back over his right or left shoulders at where Jan Negussen's is. David Remy still in third, still coming under pressure from Zander Przyblak. 3 minutes plus 1 to go. plus 1 lap to go. And I tell you what, Zander Triblak, it's not going to be if he strikes, it's when he strikes. But I don't think he's got that opportunity. This is where the time is fast ticking away. Zander Triblak really needs to be a lot closer to David Remy. He is a little bit this time around, but I don't think it's helping. He's getting closer to the Swede, under braking, but it's not working. There's something not gelling at the minute, and I can't understand what that is, as Carl Clervaux goes up the inside of Alexander Zanibekian, up the inside of turn number 2 to take 8th position. He's still in the lead as Tamsin Germain is now on level peggings with Christophe Lignon in the 588. The battle for second position in DD2 Masters very much coming alive here in the last couple of moments. And the change has happened. Triblak has overtaken Remy for 3rd place. So, change at the top of the order. Dionysius Liveris still leads, and it was 0.56 seconds last time around. Ahead of Jan Negusens. Zander Triblak now up into 3rd position, having got past David Remy. Sebastian de Grand is definitely chasing down Jan Schwitter. Madeleine Radny is right on the back bumper of Zanibekian. What a move from Tamsin Germain on Christophe Lignon through turn number 1. She now takes 2nd position in the DD2 Masters class in this race. That's a great move from the Brits as Madeleine Radny gets up the inside, forces her way past Alexander Zanibekian through into turn number 3. Great moves from the ladies out on the track right now. That is 2 brilliantly executed moves within 3 corners of that lap. So Dionysius Liveris' lead over Jan Negusens extends to 0.663 of a second in this penultimate race for DD2 and DD2 Masters this weekend here at Karting Defagne. But I think the way that he is controlling the pace and the way that he's just... That was the most casual glance I've seen from Dionysius Liveris all weekend long. And he just looked and went, ah, there he is. I can still go for it. So the good thing is he will have more than enough in front as we've got around about 30 seconds to go. So at the minute, the running order: Dionysius Liveris leads from Jan Negusens, Zander Triblak, David Remy. Jan Schwitter rounds out the top 5. Sebastian de Grand in 6th, Alexander Vermeulen in 7th. DD2 Masters class leader Carl Clervaux looks to complete another win this weekend. That's 7 on the bounce if he does it. And the time is fast ticking away. 3, 2, 1. Time's up. That's it. This time round, it will be the final lap board that greets Dionysius Liveris. This is a sign that he's been waiting for, and now he's got it. Jan Negusens in 2nd, excuse me there. Nearly 7.5 tenths behind. Zander Triblak staying resolute, having to resolve himself to 3rd place. David Remy in 4th. Jan Schwitter holding on as best he can against Dame Racing Team's Sebastian de Grand in the 447. That's the battle for 5th. Alexander Vermeulen in 7th. Carl Clervaux leading the DD2 Masters class in 8th position. Madeleine Radny in 9th. Alexander Zanibekian in 10th. Tamsin Germain 2nd in DD2 Masters. 11th on the road ahead of Christophe Lignon in 12th. Jamie Billings, Christoph Adams, Fritz Vansen, Alexander Döllinger, Roland Kinch and Ronald Billings all still circulating. But ladies and gentlemen, the first win today is going to go to Dionysius Liveris from Greece. And he's so elated, patting the side pod on the right-hand side of his kart. Dionysius Liveris takes another win here at Karting Defagne in Mariembourg, ahead of Jan Negusens by just over 7 tenths of a second. And the 100% success rate continues. But it's only for one driver now. The rest have fallen by the wayside, but if memory serves me correct, Carl Clervaux has done 7 from 7. That's impressive. That is impressive. So the final running order, the finishing order in fact. Dionysius Liveris wins from Jan Negusens by 0.0729 seconds. Zander Triblak manages to resurge and come back from 5th to finish in 3rd place, ahead of David Remy, who started alongside Jan Negusens on the front row. Jan Schwitter in 5th, Sebastian de Grand in 6th, Alexander Vermeulen in 7th, Kyle Klibble in 8th, taking the DD2 class win in Masters, ahead of Magdalene Radney, Alexander Zanibekian, Tamsin Germain, Christoph Linien, Jamie Billings, Christoph Adams, Fritz Wernsen, Alexander Derlinger, with Roland Kinch and Ronald Billings rounding out the 18 strong.